Thank you, wonderful people, for joining me today. I am the major prophet of God, Maxwell, Nnawuihe, the major prophet that tells you the truth, even when it is not convenient. Simon Ekpa, confess, apologize to Biafrans and Nnamdi Kanu. This is a direct message to Simon Ekpa. It is a direct message to Simon Ekpa. In the nearest future, I am going to bring other prophecies that God gave to me about Simon Ekpa, which I have been announcing over the years. That God didn't allow me to make them public at the time. In the nearest future, those prophecies will be made open and public. I am telling Simon Ekpa by the counsel of God, confess, apologize to Biafrans and Nnamdi Kanu. When I say apologize to Biafrans, specifically I'm talking about Igbos, all the Igbos who are indigenous in across 13 states of Nigeria, whether in Benue, in Edo, whether they are in Ebanke, Ibakere, whether they are in Delta State, it doesn't matter. Igbos, Biafrans, you have to apologize to them for leading them astray. You allowed yourself to be misled, and in turn, you misled them. I am going to play a couple of clips. I am going to play tapes that I believe I can beat my chest and say that about 90% of the followers of Simon Ekpa, autopilot, and all the factions have not heard, have not seen on the internet. I am going to bring them to you in this video. I'm going to bring them to you right in this video, and you'll be shocked, you'll be amazed, you'll be stunned that you've been bamboozled, you've been lampooned, you have been boxed into a corner without the opportunity to reason and think straight and pay attention to accurate prophecies coming from me, directions and counsel of God that I've exposed to you. These tapes addresses what happened when Nelly was the right-hand woman, a major partner of Simon Ekpa. How she partnered and worked with Simon Ekpa, leading Simon Ekpa away from Biafra to Idu nation propagation or agitation. Before things went sour, before they couldn't get along anymore, before they clashed, before they began to fight against themselves, as a result of constant prayers that I was making along other people were making on this altar against all the people that the devil has filled or have filled their hearts to mislead Biafrans. I prophesied that the Idu nation will not stand in terms of becoming a best alternative to Biafra as propagated by Nelly and Simon Ekpa. At that time, I gave a prophecy. The title of that prophecy is Idu or Biafra, a prophetic admonition. They refused to listen. That is the title of that prophecy I gave about Idu. It is on this channel. Search for it, you are going to find it. After watching this video, the next video to watch is that title that I mentioned to you now, Idu or Biafra, a prophetic admonition. They refused to listen. I gave detailed prophecy about the Idu nation. That is not the will of God. That Biafrans shouldn't think about it or talk about it. That Biafrans should not listen to Simon Ekpa or Nelly at the time, because it is not the will of God. I gave that prophecy. It is published and it is on this channel, Maxwell Nnawuihe channel. I am the major prophet of God that tells you the truth, even when it hurts. Look for that prophecy after watching this video, and you will understand what I'm talking about. How many years down the line? Where is Idu nation today? The Biafran people who were following Simon Ekpa and Nelly at the time, they didn't know that Nelly tied them on the shrine and the altar of a native doctor. Most of the names of the cabinet members of Simon Ekpa were all tied and buried in a pot in the compound of the native doctor, including Simon Ekpa. Nelly tied him according to the confession you are going to hear from their own mouth. I don't want to say more than this. I'm going to bring that very tape to the screen now. I want you immediately, if you like the truth, if you believe in the truth, if you believe in the truth, like this video, share it everywhere, and subscribe to this channel if you are new to my channel. Thank you, my returning subscribers. Here comes the tape. If you have been long following Simon Ekpa or Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you will know the lady that is on the screen, and you will hear from other ladies. Now listen.
And the native doctor now told Nelly, if you want to do that, I am going to help you so that we can get Biafra. But to kill anybody from Biafra, I cannot. Nelly provided a sacrifice, a bull, the Igbo cow that is called Efibo, and made it and brought it for a sacrifice with something that I'm not going to tell you guys here now, which is shocking.
But you will later hear it.
The kind of sacrifice that Nelly provided to the Dibia, or what is called native doctor in English.
And she was working with Simon.
After that, the sacrifice was done. The things that are variable were buried. And Nelly called some members of the Umadas and buried them too. And after burying them, she made a pronouncement that she should be on top and she should be controlling everything. But those she wanted to be killed, we are not, because the man told her, I cannot do that. And one of the clause is that she cannot go to any other native doctor. And when she revealed that she was the one that betrayed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the man told her to go and confess.
Simon must also confess.
To confess to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and apologize, and confess to Biafran people, or to say it before any other person. That is the only way Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be revealed, will be released.
And Simon was aware of this and kept working with her.
Because of her stubbornness, left the man and went to another native doctor in Benin. When she got to Benin, they asked her to preach Idu.
Idu?
That was how the Idu saga started.
And Simon supported it.
You can see to yourself what has happened since then.
And Simon supported
what we
it.
are telling you.
Now listen, and Simon supported it. When Nelly came with the propagation of the Idu as the best alternative to Biafra, abandoning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the DSS dungeon in Abuja, Nigeria, Simon Ekpa provided all the media coverage and platforms to Nelly for the propagation of the Idu nation. Not only providing those platforms for her, but also becoming part and parcel of it. That many Biafrans were derailed and deceived into abandoning Biafra and abandoning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and now switching over to discussing and campaigning for Idu nation instead of Biafra restoration. Nelly and Simon Ekpa, they were working together. You can now hear that this same Idu concept of Biafra, or alternative to Biafra, originated from a witch doctor, from a native doctor, from a diabolical sacrifices to derail Biafrans, to further and extend the period of the suffering of Biafran people and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And Mazi Simon Ekpa was aware of it. He threw his weight behind Nelly, and they worked together towards achieving it. Simon Ekpa, you have to confess. Nobody should defend the indefensible. Anyone that condemned this video is evil. Anyone that opened his or her mouth to speak evil against I, the servant of the Most High God, for standing the truth, for standing for the truth, such a person is evil. Such a person is evil. And all those that love the truth should not pay attention to them. It doesn't matter how they're trying to paint it or twist it. This is not about speaking against Simon Ekpa. This is not about dividing Igbos. This is not about parochial interest. This is about the will of God and the counsel of the Most High God. They began to preach Idu because that was the condition that the native doctor they went to at Benin gave them, that you have to start preaching Idu. What happened? Remember, I told you there's a prophecy I gave about Idu when everywhere was on fire. People were jumping up and down and campaigning for Idu. How many of you remember Nsima? How many of you remember Nsima? Now that I've mentioned his name, some of you will remember the role that he played. in the Idu nation propagation, and how he later abandoned Idu, abandoned Biafra, and joined APC and was campaigning for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How many of you still remember Faith, the freedom fighter, Ogale? Many of them, I don't want to mention the names of individuals here, because when they were with their thousands of followers, I was the lonely voice that gave the counsel of God and prophecy accurate that this is not the way to go. This is not the will of God. Idu nation propagation or agitation is not the will of God. And I cautioned them and I told them that it cannot stand. And today, the Idu nation has crashed. I also gave prophecy about the autopilot. I gave prophecy about the camp of Simon Ekpa that is going to collapse. And today, it has collapsed. Let the tape continue to play. I am the major prophet of God that tells you the truth even when it hurts. I am Maxwell Nnawuihe. Like this video and share it everywhere. Don't allow anybody to deceive you not to keep following me or watching my videos. Let the tape continue.
Here is not may say, but we are working based on the information that we got from the native doctor that Nelly went to.
This lady talking now is no longer with Simon.
Nelly started preaching Idu. Not only preaching Idu, there was one of our gallant men that took Nelly to this native doctor. And that guy, one day, after all the sacrifice they made, Nelly asked the guy to go somewhere, that she sent something from America, that he should go over there and pick it up. That he should be mindful of how he's moving, that he should go only by himself in the evening, early in the morning. Not knowing that Nelly arranged the military personnel and they were waiting for this guy somewhere. And by the time the boy got there, they killed the boy and took away his phone. But God of heaven knows how he does his things, because before that, he had already sent all the information he had in that phone. Both the sacrifice and everything, all the nakedness of Nelly and everything that she did was in that phone. He had already sent it to one of the gallant men. And this was how the native doctor got angry. The two things, Nelly saw it, her hand. Nelly killed this innocent boy, and Nelly, of course, tied almost every member of the Umada that started the journey from London. Myself, my family were buried in that compound where Nelly did that.
Including Simon.
Not only that, Madam Oyibo is equally tied. Msima was tied.
Remember Msima?
Ifeanyiwa was tied. Simon Ekpa was tied.
Simon Ekpa was tied.
So members of DOS
listen again. Listen.
And not only that, Madam Oyibo is equally tied. Msima was tied. Ifeanyiwa was tied. Simon Ekpa was tied. Sima was tied. Ifeanyiwa was tied. Simon Ekpa was tied.
Your prime minister was tied. Your so-called prime minister. By the time he was working with this lady, I went into the prophetic chamber to analyze, to understand where this is coming from. And when the Lord revealed to me that this is not the will of God, that this is not coming from God, I shouted until when the appointed time came and God asked me to speak, to address the Idu nation propagation spearheaded by Simon Ekpa and Nelly Ofebu, to tell Biafrans to desist, as I've been warning some of you now, telling you about Simon Ekpa, that he has derailed. As I've been giving prophecies over the years, and many Biafrans were turned deaf ear. They will not listen because it doesn't favor them. Simon Ekpa followers, they will say no. This prophecy, this so-called man of God, this is not a prophet of God. This is a prophet of the DOS. That is what Simon Ekpa followers call me. That is what Simon Ekpa handlers call me, because when the prophecy doesn't suit them, when the message doesn't caress and massage their ego and tell them to carry on, like some fake prophets have been doing, they will say, oh, Maxwell Nnawuihe is the prophet of the DOS, he's the prophet of IPOB, it's not our prophet. But when I give a prophecy or give a message that affects the DOS or affect some leadership of IPOB, the same leadership of DOS or IPOB, they will turn around and say, oh, he is autopilot pastor, don't listen to him. Maxwell Nnawuihe is the prophet of autopilot, he is the follower of Simon Ekpa. You can now understand that every genuine prophet, sometimes almost all the people will be against him, because a major prophet of God will always say the will of God, and sometimes the will of God does not favor everybody the same time, and so those it doesn't favor, who are disobedient and unrepentant, will always come against it. That is why they have been coming against me from different angles, but I'm not deterred. It doesn't remove a hair from my body. I will continue to stand on the truth and propagate the truth, telling the Biafran people and the world that the only leader you have is Nnamdi Kanu. Simon Ekpa has derailed, whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not. This step will continue, and after this video I am going to continue, because this is going to run up to part 3 or part 4. So you have to follow up. After watching this part 1, you have to continue with the part 2, part 3 until the series comes to an end. Once again, subscribe to this channel if you are new here. Like this video, share this video, and God will bless you immensely. Let the tape continue. Simon Ekpa was tied by this same Nelly. So the Nelly succeeded in caging and hypnotizing him, so that she will use him and use his platforms to carry out the evil agenda of the wicked. And Simon yielded himself to her, and she really used Simon Ekpa for a long time to cause chaos. And how dare you defend the indefensible? And Simon didn't still learn the lesson. After that, instead of him to come back to his senses and say, no, I have got it wrong now, I have to redress my steps and fall back to line, remembering the man that promoted a man, Nnamdi Kanu. Rather than do that, when Nelly was knocked off the ring, some people with vested interest, they jumped in to fill the gap of Nelly in the life of Simon Ekpa, and they began to mislead Simon Ekpa, continuing from where Nelly stopped. Simon didn't understand it. Why Simon allowed them to occupy the place or to take the position of Nelly was because Simon was ashamed of such a leadership mistake, leadership tragedy and blunder that he made. So in order to save face, he allowed some people with vested interest to come in and to begin to praise him, to begin to defend him, excusing him from the errors and the mistakes he has made by following Nelly Ofebu. And they now hijacked the whole process and the whole system and began to talk about the Biafra government in exile. Are you understanding what is going on now? So at this time, Simon couldn't stand up as a man. Simon couldn't stand up and behave as a true leader with integrity to say, no, I have made the first mistake. I'm not going to allow anybody to push me into making the second mistake, which will be highly regrettable and full of disadvantages. He didn't do that. He allowed them to mislead him. He formed the Biafra government in exile. He began to distance himself from Nnamdi Kanu and refused to take orders from Nnamdi Kanu. That was the trajectory that landed him in prison in Finland. Simon Ekpa, confess, apologize to Biafrans, apologize to Nnamdi Kanu. Biafrans will forgive you if you do this on time, not when you don't have the opportunity to do so. Stop chasing after the shadow. They say they are going to appeal the judgment in Finland. You are wasting your bloody time. Even if Simon Ekpa comes out of the prison in Finland today, he remains an ex-convict. Even if he comes out of the prison today, you cannot take away the fact and the truth that he actually derailed. He derailed. He allowed himself to be misled and in turn misled Biafrans. Let the tape continue.
Some members of DOS were tied.
Listen.
And not only that, Madam Oyibo is equally tied. Msima was tied. Ife was tied. Simon Ekpa was tied. And some members of DOS were tied.
Simon Ekpa was tied by Nelly through voodoo and witchcraft.
The day before yesterday, the one that she buried on my family and some members of the Umada were uprooted.
Just listen.
I want to tell Biafran people that this is the hardest time that I've ever walked in my life.
And have they corrected themselves?
So heartbroken.
They refuse to learn.
And we never knew that Nelly will go to this extent. And we won't want to tell Nelly that she has done the deed and she's pocketing the whole Biafrans in her pockets before.
Where is she?
Has been destroyed.
Where is she today?
From the native doctor is that she goes out there and confess what she has done, or else the land of Biafra will descend, or the God of Biafra
Where is
will
Nelly?
descend on her.
Where is Simon today?
So we, the Umada, are calling on Nelly to come over and then tell the Biafran people what she has done. Nnamdi Kanu has been suffering in the dungeon and he needs to be released.
And this woman talking now, that was when they were also working together with Simon Ekpa, but now she's no longer working with Simon Ekpa. She's no longer with them. I don't know where she is now. I don't want to mention her name. Some of you watching now, you know her face and you know her name. And I know I don't want to talk about personal issues, but I actually gave advice and said, no, this is not the way to go. But that advice was not heeded to, wasn't accepted, wasn't comfortable. After a year thereabout, they parted ways. You cannot truly fight against Maxwell Nnawuihe if you're not possessed with evil spirit. You cannot speak against my videos and what I do, except you are possessed with evil spirit.
And our restoration is imminent. And I want Mazi Simon Ekpa to open the screen and show the Biafran people the boy that died because of Nelly. Because she was trying to cover her tracks. That was how she sent the people that destroyed this boy. So, Mazi Simon Ekpa, please, I want you to show this man.
Keep watching
on the screen.
All right, one moment.
Like this video.
Because,
like this video now.
Let us refresh.
Share the video everywhere. Share it everywhere. If you are new to my channel.
Yourself.
Oh.
If you are new to my channel, subscribe to this channel now.
I need to refresh, and then I will bring the boy to the screen.
Simon need to confess and apologize to Biafrans and Nnamdi Kanu for misleading Biafrans. None of you should be defending what is wrong. None of you. None of you. You may say, he did it in ignorance. He did it when he was not aware. What happens after that time? As I said minutes ago, did he change? Did he fall back to line? Did he come back to the right track? The answer is no. And now he's in Finland prison.
We are going to be presenting evidence, or these evidences, stage by stage. We will be presenting the evidences stage by stage, and started my own exposition, what I have investigated and find out before this native doctor issue come up. So the picture you are seeing now, those watching, because if you are, for those of you in the Zoom, you need to look from our YouTube. This the person here, some of you may know who he is. He is one of our gallant men. So this was the person who directed Nelly Ofebu to the native doctor, and then after that she killed him. She killed him to cover up the sacrifice that were made. And this is the same man. So if you are seeing this particular face today, he was a gallant man. He was one of our gallant men, and he did not. He didn't do any bad thing for introducing Nelly to a native doctor. He didn't know that what Nelly was going to do is evil. And then, so after the sacrifice, because Nelly used something that is unspeakable of, Nelly used something to do the sacrifice.
You will hear it in this video.
Probably when we are going to play some voice, you are going to hear what Nelly used to do this.
Some of them you will hear them in the next video. Some of them you will hear them in the next video.
I cannot just mention by myself.
Okay.
So, maybe when we play the voices, you are going to hear that yourself. So if you know this person was killed by Nelly, and you are also going to hear the narrative, how she planned the killing of this person. And of course, the only reason, if you all remember, I posted about Anini of a document here, is the only one who knows what, or what Nelly believed that he is the only one who knows what the sacrifice she did and how she did it. So, but of course, like Madam Azoka explained, this gallant man recorded everything and forwarded to one of the person from the native doctor, and then after they killed him, they took away the phone. The only thing the military targeted, the only thing the Nigerian army military targeted after killing him was the phone, because that was the instruction Nelly gave to them. So if you are seeing this image today, you know that Nelly was the one who eliminated him, because he took Nelly to the native.
And unfortunately, so Nelly cannot defend herself.
Whenever you request another,
Nelly can't defend herself. How many of you have heard from Nelly for how many years now? How many of you have heard from her?
So I want you equally to show Biafran people the voice of the native doctor, the warning he gave to Nelly.
Okay, let me remove this from the screen.
Okay. I'm going to interpret what he will say. I'm going to interpret or translate in English, or translate to English what the native doctor will say in this step. I will be able to translate it for you in English.
I am going to play that voice.
Like this video, share it everywhere. What we propagate here is the truth. What we propagate is the truth. If you see any comment that is abusive against this video, know that they are speaking from the perspective of ignorance.
Warning. This is the warning of the native doctor to Nelly Ofebu. So I am going to play that voice. One moment.
While waiting for the tape to come up, I will translate to you. Don't allow anybody to mislead you with their nonsense comments in the chat section.
Nelly Ofebu, obliebem mubaya siya sheria Nnamdi Kanu Biafra nine.
Let me translate. The native doctor in this step said that Nelly came to him and he advised her to go and apologize and beg the Biafran people and Nnamdi Kanu.
Biko mbaghara maka ihe niile o mere. Then
that he asked Nelly to apologize to Biafrans and Nnamdi Kanu for all that she has done. That she should not go to any other native doctor to do another charm or to prepare another voodoo or another diabolical sacrifices. That was what he said. So the native doctor said that Nelly didn't listen to his advice. As a result, he now used this occultic power or witchcraft power to destroy all the things that he did for her. Mind you, by this time, Nelly was actively walking hand in hand with Simon Ekpa. Don't forget it.
So, also, he said, "Chukwu kikeko bio, na moroja ibo, amno. Uka gole jeri uka njatanja, uka gole jeri uka kata. Holy jeje keja Casablanca, head of fire na abo. Obi eble."
So the native doctor now made some incantation. Those things you were hearing were some incantation coming from the native doctor, trying to destroy the things that Nelly, that the charm that he has prepared for Nelly, for going contrary to his advice or instruction, which was the condition for preparing the charm for her in the first place. That was the native doctor incantation.
That was the warning of the native doctor to Nelly. Nelly knows the man, and Nelly knows how they have done what they have done. So that was the warning of the native doctor to Nelly, asking that she must go and apologize to Nnamdi Kanu and to Biafrans what she did. And the thing she did is that she sold Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya. Thank you very much, Omar. I can continue from here.
Now, and you were aware of this. You were aware of this. Simon Ekpa did not come up with this tape and this program until he had issues with Nelly. Simon Ekpa did not provide this platform to talk about all these practices and all these evils and all these voodoos and all these witchcraft manipulations, charm, diabolical powers and forces that were brought into the process of the Biafra restoration before they switched over to Idu. Simon never talked about it until he parted ways with Nelly of Ebu. And many Biafrans say, oh, they never knew that Simon Ekpa was involved in these fetish practices, that they never knew that Simon Ekpa has been deceived or derailed. Some of them, God so kind, they were delivered from the lies and the shackles of voodoo and incantations. This was as a result of our persistent prayers, consistent prayers and fastings on the altar of sacrifice. We kept on praying and holding in the line. We kept on holding brief for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu spiritually. We kept on holding it down on the altars of prayers. Many people didn't know what God has done through this platform and my ministry. Many of them that make certain comments or statements who are not grounded, who have not followed or watched my videos up to 6 months or 1 month. Many of them don't understand how far we have gone in standing in the gap spiritually to direct the Biafran people and to expose lies and expose their misleaders. This dimension of direct message, specific message, direct message to Mazi Simon Ekpa is going to continue with another video. I am going to leave you now. Like this video, share the video, subscribe to this channel. I will come back to you again with the continuation of this series. Thank you and God bless you.